Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Yep? Yep. Excellent. Right, my name is Tom Fielder. I am a senior software engineer, CTO and director for local software development agency Switchplane. At Switchplane, we build web apps, smartphone apps, any kind of software that helps your business to be more efficient, save time and save money. My role as CTO means that I'm responsible for keeping up with technology as it changes, looking at innovation, understanding how we can apply that innovation to, well, not only to our business, but to our customers' businesses as well. So there's a lot to try and cram into a 30-minute session on AI, and there's a huge sort of range of different types of sector in this room. So to try and talk about exactly how you're going to get started in business is a pretty tricky thing in 30 minutes. So please feel free to grab me afterwards. I'm happy to give a free consultation, talk about whatever it is if I haven't answered a question in this presentation. So we're here to support DigiFest, so like I say, grab us afterwards. We're just outside on the stand as well. So today, we're going to talk about AI and how it can function in your business. But before I get to that part, I do want to give you kind of a baseline on what AI is and kind of how it works. Don't worry, it's not going to get all technical. I did say this was unboring, I promise. And I did say that you're going to find out why AI is like your dog. I'm sure some of you in the room have already got an idea of where I'm going with that. So today I'm going to talk about software development with a particular focus on AI. We're going to look at some of the example use cases in business and solutions that are available right now. My hope is that by the end of this session, you will have kind of a concrete idea of where to go next, what you should actually start doing with AI in your business. So it doesn't really matter where you are on your journey with AI. You could have already started, or you might just be something that's floating around your head thinking, I need to be looking at this stuff, or you're not planning for a while. The information I'm trying to cover is something that's going to be generic enough to work for everyone. So, what is AI? AI has been around for ages. This concept of intelligent things, objects, it's not new. The term AI was coined in the 1950s, so it really actually has been around for quite some time. But it's not been since the last sort of 5, 10, 15 years where there's been this real rapid pace of change. And I mean rapid, even by technology standards. And I guess the reason why we're here today talking about it is primarily probably because of the success of ChatGPT. So very quickly, show of hands, who's heard of ChatGPT? Whoa. Okay, so basically everyone, maybe one person at the back didn't. And who's using ChatGPT in their working life? Okay, so everyone's heard of it, but maybe not quite utilizing it. It's still really good to see that people are using AI to help them solve problems. So for those of you that don't know, ChatGPT is an AI chatbot. It's what we call a natural language processing model. And what that means is that you are able to ask it a question or a prompt in human-like text, and you can expect to get a human-like text response back. And that's the key. You're not doing a Google search. You're not getting a list of search results for some terms that you entered. AI understands your question, it understands your prompt, and AI is contextual. So when I say contextual, it means that ChatGPT, for example, is capable of understanding your context, the context of what you're trying to say. You can ask it a follow-up question to narrow your results. Context is key. As humans, we are contextual beings. I'm sure at some stage you or a friend at work has cracked a really funny joke. You take that really offensively funny joke and you tell it at Aunt Bessie's funeral, and maybe it doesn't go down quite so well. That's because we're contextual. We change our behavior based on our environment. And AI is contextual. It can understand its environment and what's going on. And this is a really important point. So when we think about something like Google Translate, I'm sure a whole bunch of you have used it to translate the body of, say, English to French. And you look at the French on the other side and you think, it's a little bit ropey. Well, maybe if you send that text to your friend that's a native speaker, and they will tell you, yeah, you used Google Translate. So how could they possibly know that? It's because, at the time of my research anyway, Google Translate wasn't using a natural language processing model. Don't get me wrong, it's not a literal translation either, but it's not at this end of the spectrum either. And this is the key. If you use, say, ChatGPT to make the same translation, it should do a better job because it understands the meaning of what you've asked, the meaning of what you've said. And that really is the key that we're looking at here with AI. It understands the meaning. All it has to do is understand the meaning of the text that you've entered in English and you've asked for it in French. It understands what that boils down to. And it marries that up with other data and it understands what it boils down to over here. And it will just have to spit that back out to you in a different language. So it's actually just joining data together. It's not using some fancy algorithm really to do it. Yes, AI is capable of logic and all this complicated stuff too, but in this scenario, AI is contextual. It's what we'd say is intuitive. So you, as a human, you are hopefully intuitive. Your intuitive brain kicks in when you need to make a decision. You don't know that it's happening, but it is. And AI is capable of doing the same thing. So you think about, say, your journey to work. You're driving in the car, you come across a roadblock, or, I don't know, you've got roadworks, and you're blocked, and you're thinking, I'm not going to get fired again. I need to get to work on time. And your intuitive brain, within a fraction of a second, kicks in and says, let's take that side road. That's going to get me to work faster. And what you've actually done, if you break that problem down, what you've done is you've used your historical data set of what's around you, your environment, your trip to work. You know this place. You've done it day in, day out. So you're using that data, and you're using real-time data of looking around you, seeing cars, trucks, whatever. And so by pairing those two together, your intuitive brain just kicked in straight away and said, right, let's go that way. You're ignoring the sat-nav, which is telling you to turn around and go back on some main road somewhere. So what's to stop AI from being that way too, being intuitive? Well, the answer is nothing. Ultimately, AI is intuitive. It's really good at drawing data sets together. And that's exactly the same scenario. So when we take that same scenario of you being in the car, what's to stop AI giving you a better choice than what you made? Well, nothing. AI has potentially access to more data than you do. It's got a leg up on you. Everyone's got a smartphone in their pocket. Everyone's got a smartphone in their car. That smartphone is reporting its location back to a central database somewhere. AI potentially has access to that data. And that's the key. More data gives better results. You, as a human, you've only got the data that's around you. You haven't got that data. And so the AI has told you to turn around because it already knows that there's 5 or 6 other people who've gone up that side road, a couple of trucks, nobody's getting through there. So AI ultimately is designed to solve complex problems more quickly and more accurately than you can. So how on earth does that work? I mean, it's bonkers, right? That this computer can somehow manage to come up with a solution that's quicker and easier and better than you can. Well, at the start, I mentioned, how is AI like your dog? And it's the best way that I can explain it. This is how you train a dog. So when you have a dog, I'm sure you're all familiar with dogs and dog training. The idea is you ask your dog to sit, It doesn't sit, obviously, and you tell it to sit again, it still doesn't sit. You tell it to sit and maybe nudge it down a bit, and you give it a treat. And the dog thinks, whoa, this guy, what an absolute lunatic. All I had to do was sit, and he gave me a treat. And what happens is that the more that you do this, the dog obviously starts to learn the behavior, and eventually the treat goes away. And the concept is exactly the same with AI, in that we're not giving it a treat, but we are giving it a reward, and we are penalising it as well. So when we give AI a problem to solve, and it does a good job, then we give it points. And when it does a bad job, we take those points away. And so that is why AI is pretty much like your dog. Now, if you bear with me for 1 second, I'm going to try and give you a little demo of something. So what we've done at Switchplane, we've got this little snake game. You're familiar with the concept of snake, I'm sure. A snake has to go around the screen, it's got to eat some food, mustn't touch the sides, and so on. So what we've done is we've got this little AI snake game. And what I want to try and do is just set this snake game off running while we are here. So this is a live demonstration. Anything could go wrong. Okay, let me just drag that on screen. Okay, look, there we go. I've set off a snake. So right now it knows absolutely nothing about anything. It's just told where danger is, which is at the sides, or itself, and it's told where the food is. And so based on that information, it's doing what we describe as exploration right now. It's just randomly going about its business, crashing into walls, and learning. So this is happening right now on my machine. And what it's doing is it's building up a picture of how it should behave in this environment. So, as you can see, it's a bit rubbish to start. Well, it's because it's never done this before. But what I want to do, hopefully, if this demonstration goes well, I'm going to come back to this later, and we'll see how the snake's performing. So, right now, it's played 15 games, and it's got a record of 1. So, if I can drag that away, we'll come back to it later. Okay, so what AI technology is right for your business? Well, there are so many different types, loads of different types. Ultimately, it depends on the problem that you're trying to solve. You know, we've got machine learning. We've got deep learning. So machine learning is kind of entry-level AI, if you like, where it's learning about data. And deep learning is machine learning, but on steroids. You've got computer vision. That's where AI is scanning images and video for objects, perhaps flagging stuff up, flagging information up to a human somewhere if something occurs. You've got the natural language processing that we spoke about earlier with ChatGPT. And there's loads. I mean, you've got robotics. You're all familiar with this idea of a warehouse full of robots that are going to go and pick from the shelves for you. And so there really are 1,000,001 different types of AI. So for me, as business owners, what I encourage you to do is think about the solutions instead. So to be solution-led. And again, there are 1 billion solutions. So because we're trying to deal with, obviously, a short window of time here and probably a wide-ranging set of people, you've got things like customer service. So very quickly, customer service, you've got a chatbot. Let's fill that chatbot with all of the knowledge of your FAQs and your entire knowledge base and pair it maybe with the person that's communicating with you. With that data, you can really answer customer questions pretty effectively compared to, 15, 20 years ago. You've got sales and marketing. We all know that if you personalize campaigns, if you hit people at the right time, you're going to get a good result. You hit them with what they want. And AI is able to extract that or pair up data about me and what I might like based on what other people similar to me might like. Pretty simple stuff. You've got computer vision, where you're scanning for defects, say. If you have a factory and you've got goods that are produced and, circuit boards or something that come out the end of your factory, and, circuit boards are pretty renowned for being defective. You can have soldering going wrong and all sorts. If you could scan those circuit boards as they come out of your production line and compare those with healthy-looking boards, then immediately your AI system can flag up when stuff's defective and tell you, say, hey, this thing looks defective, let's defer it to a human. You've got the financial services. I'm sure we're all aware of fraud and the number of transactions that are going on at any one time. How can you keep up with all of that? AI is great at parsing data and understanding it and drawing conclusions. Fraud is changing all the time, strategies and so on, so AI needs to keep up. You've got healthcare. The number of applications in healthcare are incredible. If I get a blood test and let's say my data is run through AI and AI is able to say, hey, you need to lose a bit of weight or something because your health needs to improve in some way. Again, scanning for abnormal cells maybe. So picking up on stuff early, it genuinely will save lives. There's all sorts of other things as well. I'm not going to go through many more, but if we think about energy management, Google started using AI in their data centers. They use it to cut down on the amount of energy that they were using to cool their data centers. These things are really hot and need to be kept cool. So hooray, we saved Google some money. But no, the benefit for me there is that that's cut down on the carbon. So if you as a business are looking to get net zero or even negative, then maybe AI is a solution that will work for you. You think about worker safety. So again, computer vision. If you've got workers that are moving into hazardous areas, they're not wearing the right PPE, AI can pick up on that and it can flag it to a human and say, hey, this guy needs to, you need to rugby tackle him or something. So what's the good news and bad news? Good news is that this stuff's employable in your business right now. It really does exist. It's not pie in the sky type stuff. It really is available now. The bad news is that it takes a bit of time. It does take time, energy, investment. You need to get data, ultimately. So you do need to think about this as a long journey. It's not something that you're going to, download and install on your computer and then walk away. It genuinely is going to be a part of your business. This is not just a fad. It really is a new evolution for business. And if you aren't doing it, then I promise you that your competitors are thinking about doing it, and within a year, they will be doing it. What I say when I'm talking to people about this is I say that you need to start thinking about AI as your next employee. Don't think of it as some ridiculous, expensive investment. Think of it as a salary. You're going to pay someone to do a job. Why not pay AI? I promise you that it will yield return on investment. So how do you get started? Well, like I say, every business is different and every solution is different. So what I've done is I've tried to put together a little rough guide. It's kind of like a template that I try and follow when I'm speaking to people and trying to work out how we can help them solve a problem. Some steps aren't going to work for you or your industry, perhaps. And some steps might seem really simple, and then others are actually pretty complex within themselves. So let's have a quick look. So step one, you've got to define your problem. You've got to know what it is you're actually going to solve, right? And there might be more than one problem. There might be a whole string of problems depending on how on fire your business is. But if you've got big problems, I suggest you look at the smallest problem. Don't start looking at the big problem and think how you're going to tackle that. Start small, because that's going to be the easiest problem for you to solve. It's going to let you prototype and understand how AI integrates into your business, and ultimately will get you a better return when you start tackling those bigger problems. You've got to understand your problem. You've got to get data. AI is all about data. Get historical data sets if you can. Speak to people involved that are currently solving this problem. You've got to get as much information you can about the root causes and patterns within the problem. AI is only going to be as good as your data. You think back to the dog example. If you are teaching your dog to sit and actually you give it a treat when it jumps up at you, you're going to get mixed results. And the same is with AI. You need to make sure your data is good. You've got to research the type of solution that's going to work for you and for your business. It depends on your business. If you're a big business or a small business, your approaches are going to be different. It depends. If you, let's say, I don't know, if you need custom software maybe to bring stuff together, you might be a bigger business where you've got lots of data all over the place. You might just be a small business, a small team, then maybe you don't need those things. So you've got to think about this. You've got to research what's right for you. You might have an in-house team that can help you. You might not. Consult with the experts if necessary. Again, I'm coming back to data because you need to make sure your data is good. You've got to pre-process it. Get it into a state that's going to work for AI. There's no point, well, you can chuck random data at AI and you can get results. But for the purposes of this, a clean data set is going to yield you a much better result. You've got to develop and integrate your AI, your model. So that's integrating it into your existing systems. You've got to monitor it and understand its performance and think about how it can be improved. And that's where you iterate and improve. So AI, it's like an evolution in your business. Your business problems, they're not static. They change all the time, and input variables change all the time. And your AI needs to be capable of doing that too. So that's why you need to invest and keep investing and training your AI. So, to recap, you've got to define your problem. Figure out what it is you're trying to solve. Understand it. Get as much data as you can. Identify the possible solutions that are going to work for you. Process some data. Get it into a state that's going to work. Develop a model and integrate it into your systems. Test it. It will go wrong. You've got to test it. Iterate and improve. So what do you actually need to do? I've talked a lot about what AI is and how it works and this nice step-by-step guide, but what do you actually need to do? So what you need to do is go away, gather data about your business. It doesn't really matter what the data is. Collect as much as you can. The more data that you've got, the better. Get it to a central platform somewhere where you can interrogate it, tie data together, and unleash AI on it. So before I just move on to the last bit, let's just check in with the snake. So, the snake is on game 92, and it's got a record of 63. You can see that the snake now has learnt what to do. It's going straight for the food, no messing about whatsoever. And look, we can see, what we'll expect to see is that the snake will take some time to learn, and then it will gradually improve. It will improve pretty quickly, actually, and then it will plateau. And the plateau is where the model isn't good enough. We need to maybe tune some parameters, some variables here and there, maybe give the snake a few more pointers. But look at that, just in the space of, 15 minutes or whatever, since I've been talking, the snake is now able to go away and effectively solve this problem faster and better than I can. We have got this snake game available to play, so come and have a look at our stand, have a go. It doesn't run as fast as that, so it's much slower. I think someone's got a record. My pitch was that no one's going to be able to beat it, but first person that had a go already has beaten it. So they got 100 and something points, but it took them 7 minutes. So I promise you, it's much slower than that. So let's move that back. So in summary, your business will need AI at some stage. Okay? Other people are going to be using it, your competitors. And if you're not at least thinking about it at this stage, then you are doing yourself a disservice. So, like I say, I hope that I've given you some kind of idea of how it works and what to do with it. Some kind of, my hope is that it's inspired you at least a little bit to go away and think, well, maybe actually there is something to this AI thing. And like I say, there's so much involved in AI. Just please give me a shout afterwards, grab my details or speak to one of our team, and more than happy to come and see you, talk about AI or whatever in your business and see if there's anything that can be done to help. So come and have a go on our stand, see if you can beat the snake. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoy your day. I'm Tom from Switchplane. I hope that's helped. Okay, thank you.